Welcome back, everyone. We continue our conversation with Dean Hyers and Pete Machalek, and this week we're talking about how to be concise. When it comes to presence, there is a lot that we want to say, there's a lot that we want to communicate, and sometimes people can ramble on or their message can get too long. What is your encouragement, Pete and Dean, for how to have a conversation that's concise?
Best way to do this is to walk into a situation knowing what points you're going to make. Breaking your point down to its component parts and having those component parts in your head and sticking to those parts as they come out of your mouth. One reference to each part, period.
So one thing you have to look at is what's hard about it? What's hard about making a point? And to some degree, it depends how your brain works. I'm a person who thinks out loud. So, just the very idea that, Pete, you say, going with your points clear. I'm often talking to find out what my point is because it's something about articulating it and hearing it and then refining it. That is how I know what I'm thinking. So I find I do that, and I do agree, but it's not always so easy to do if you're a thinking out loud kind of person.
And in a situation in an interview when the interviewer throws out a question that you hadn't considered before. So you're absolutely right. There are going to be some circumstances where you have to think out loud. And it's a great idea to do what you just said, Dean, to think out loud when it doesn't matter so that you can figure out what your point needs to be so that when you have a very limited amount of time, you're not thinking out loud, you're bringing those points into their component parts and presenting them concisely.
Well, let me follow up to that because I am curious to know if you've got a point that you want to make, but then you also have a lot of details that you need to communicate. How do you distinguish, Dean, between a point and details?
Well, a point is a simple beginning, middle, and end story for somebody. In other words, somebody's facing this, something's going to happen to take them to a better place. And you're right, Troy. I mean, in all of our work, we're helping people understand what that point is. And that's the thinking through Pete was talking about. Who are we talking about? Where do they want to be? Where are they now? How do we get them there? That's how you make a point. All the rest of the stuff that proves the point are the details. So what are the exceptions? What are the examples? What is the proof? What happened? What happened when somebody tried doing it? All of the evidence that breaks down an idea are the details. And I think most people kind of think of all of that at once, and we are constantly working with groups to separate the two. Here are the details, here's the point. And which do we start with depending on our audience?